Sup Shredders, my name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to an SP Reacts, where today we got ourselves a track from an act named Mercure Tchabong titled Red October. And if we switch over to here, we have ourselves a track on the screen on YouTube, the video for it I presume, and we're going to listen through it from start till finish. And we're going to hear what we think. Let's do it, let's go. I like the punchiness of those keys.
Yeah, middle of October and I'm thinking about all the things I'm still missing. Still praying and I'm still Christian. Looking around at all the people in the city and I wonder, am I only just a man with fake pity? You know, everywhere I turn my head I see a homeless person, and I might throw them a few nickels just to keep them burning. Do I do it just to make myself feel better? Do I do it just to justify the fact that I'm no better than them? And this guilt that I feel, where it come from? If I turn the other cheek, will I look dumb? Cause deep down I know that that's what I'm supposed to do. So when the enemy attacks, am I supposed to lose? And these are thoughts that I think to myself every day. Sometimes I wish he could come back so I could fly away. Then maybe I could be at peace. I've been chilling on the west side, feeling east. Yeah.
Once upon a time,
Oh.
I saw a dream, I knew I would shine. Maryland's a pain, I had to escape and turn on my dreams to reality. Lord told me, go on, you better fly that plane. Go to California, they gon' know your name. Mercure Tchabong, you're really, really young, and you got such a long way. Trying to do better, so I'm alright.
It's kind of inspirational, isn't it?
My stripes. I see the way to my destiny. It's shining so bright. I see the stars blaze. Oh, and I gotta find a way to go. And 5 years from now, I'll be pro. Just need a little bit of room to grow. Everything is alright, yeah. Don't you fight it? Everything is alright. Just keep climbing. Everything is alright. Focus now, don't make a sound. Get your feet up off the ground. Focus now, don't take it down. Trying to do better, so I'm alright.
I like the
And I have a vision, gotta earn my stripes. I see the way to my destiny. It's shining so bright, I see the stars blaze. Oh, and I gotta find a way to go. And 5 years from now, I'll be pro. Just need a little bit of room to grow. Everything is alright.
See, I can never serve two masters. I'd rather love one and hate the other. I'm just a sinner, but I must recover. I feel the pressure, so I'm taking cover. But I would never suffer, cause I know he got me. Yeah, I'm not a Christian rapper, and I say that clear. But I do believe in heaven, and the end is near. I'm a rapper who's Christian, and I got a new vision that I bring to existence, because I'm on a long vision, so you can hate me, but I will progress within time. And I love all my enemies, but can't lead the blind. So
What's going on here?
I might break a sweat. Come and hear the good news and come and see what you get.
Like, is that a part of the song?
Might break a sweat. Come and hear the good news and come and see what you get. Tchabong.
I am perplexed by that ending. I'm not sure how it relates to what we had before. The vocals suddenly drop and we have this sound. I'm not quite sure how to describe it, but we're going to talk about this track more in the conclusion. Because welcome to the conclusion, my review of this track from an act named Mercure Tchabong. The song titled Red October. In this section, we're going to provide an overall song analysis of everything from lyrics and vocals all the way through studio production, as well as any applicable constructive critique, and then finally my general thoughts from a listener's perspective. But before we go any further, what do we think this track is about? I'm going to live with you. Like, I heard the opening parts of the bars there discussing how, like, we were kind of, you know, seeing the homeless people around, giving them a few nickels to kind of keep them burning, etc. How we were looking to go to California and make a name for ourselves and such. And it seems relatively inspirational at that point there. We kind of had a hope for ourselves. And there are a lot of different ways that we expressed ourselves with a lot of different takes and timbres. You know, he talks about he's got a vision, he's got to earn his stripes. And I like the fry behind that. There's just such an aggression and tension behind that. But what's kind of really neat about Mercure is that they have the vocal fry bits, which are a bit more sort of gritty and aggressive. We have some really beautiful sung parts as well. We're a lot softer in our range, very comfortable flowing between the head and chest voice. I like the kind of filter that we have around the 30-second mark that almost sounds like a phone call that you're listening with a bit of mild distortion and filtering on Mercure's voice there. It's great to have different styles of production there to sort of communicate things in different ways from different perspectives. Maybe the part we discussed having traveled is after we got there, we were listening to them before they came to see us. And just at that point where, at 2 minutes 40, we have a more sort of low-key rap style there. With again, it's nice to have another side of Mercure there on the microphone. I haven't really figured out why we suddenly went down. There was those very creepy sounding, almost, like in horror movies where they've got like the predator, like the prey kind of creeping around the place, that kind of rumble in the low end. Given the image that we have here with the silhouette in red, maybe that is like a threat or a danger or something terrible has happened, Maybe like the beast is taken over or something like that. I'm not quite sure, just purely from the sounds alone. But yeah, I need more time to sort of really figure out how to articulate it. So I think aside from the ending, which I'm still kind of putting two and two together with, ultimately, I feel like the majority of this is more about Mercure Tchabong's story, the way they're kind of rising out of the ether there. And from that alone, I wish them all the best of luck in future. But it's just nice to, even though we have such a short form factor, 3 minutes 12, right within the 2 to 4 minute sweet spot, that we're not taking the listener's attention for granted. We start the track with these kind of really calm, dulcet, jazzy keys there, very kind of like palatable with the extensions and those harmonies there. And we have like a punchiness to it, but it's not too aggressive, like it kind of bounces around with some quarters and eighths and some 16th note on beats and syncopateds there. And I kind of like the way that we kind of thud in the low end there, but it's like a filtered low. So it still kind of sounds like we're floating as per, the image that we've got kind of right there. I think that again, having like some of the wow kind of organ there in that sort of 30-second mark there with the vocals over top there is just a nice bit of development as well there. And it's an interesting resonance in that mid-range. Usually we try to avoid that because it can sometimes be distracting in a post-processing range, but this is clearly more of a production sort of stylistic thing for Mercure, and I respect that. As we get into some of those spicier kind of triangle-ish wave synth leads around the minute mark, or minute 5 mark, and we have a more sort of intense performance from Mercure, things rise up appropriately. And I think that as we go forward with the drums and we explore our kicks, our snare, and our cymbal patterns there, you do kind of feel like you're getting more kind of like than what you might have expected from a first listen basis. It's almost like we've got different tracks or different chapters that are interconnected. I like the claps though, they've got a nice kind of reverb tail on them. You could have potentially added a little bit more reverb to the vocals as well to kind of help them sit, but the kind of blunt way they approach is also maybe just so that you really take it seriously. And I like that there's a bit of sort of intrinsic melody to some of those parts and legato passages on the tails there. It's cool to have this kind of affectation to it though, but you just never really know what it's going to go next. And as we kind of have these echo delay parts on the kit and sort of those synth patterns as we go through the piece, like around the 2 minute mark, for example, you feel like you're going down somewhere. You've kind of gotten to the top of the intensity, and maybe we're on the way off. But we come back up with those bombastic claps there. And, at that 2 minute 20 mark, you're not really sure, okay, how are we going to end this? And we have these overdub vocals as well with there. So we have more layers there, and the track just gets bigger and bigger. And as you add those 808s and you feel like, okay, maybe we're going to have a final iteration of that hook there. Maybe we're going to have everything come together and be incredibly heavy. But then again, you have that kind of fake out there where you have those calmer vocals and then they just get lowered there. And then suddenly you have the kind of brr, and then you have the sounds, the effect sounds and everything like that. And that's how the track ends. And it's very surreal, but I kind of dig the uniqueness and creativity of it. Honestly, I've never heard a track finish like this before, and I kind of like that we're trying to do something different here. It's very authentic. And honestly, as I listen through this, I do kind of like the variety within it. I think that if you're used to more sort of like mainstream or contemporary, like pop and hip hop and stuff like that, you might not necessarily be used to this much range, but I suppose it depends on which niches you come from. Ultimately though, really satisfied with it structurally, and I feel like there's a lot of interesting ideas from the keys, the synths, the organs, the wah effects there, the bass as well when it's prominent, as well as the ambient syncopated 8th note and quarter and the 16th drum grooves as well, with their variety interpretations. And again, just like looking back to that 2:35 mark with that wow, that kind of danger that's associated there is just really sort of like surreal. Like, it's such a contrast to some of those fluffier, kind of more pristine elements we had earlier there. It really does elicit a feel of tension and uncertainty. But yeah, honestly, cool. Okay, so like thematically, it's minor leaning, it's in a minor key, but it kind of doesn't try to sort of commit too much to the heaviness until the very end, with that kind of droning synth that we have. I think a lot of the expression within this is focused on the vocals as being, again, the main focal point of the piece. I think the keys, bass, any other surrounding elements there are playing chord progressions there to sort of either set a specific segment of the piece there, or to sort of establish a sense of sort of like dynamic range. Although, to be fair, that kind of key section at the start was great with an isolation, and like we do, again, the vocals harmonized lately with the accompaniment and vice versa. And in fact, I'm just here, like, this has replay value. You can listen through it multiple times and get a little bit extra each time, and I appreciate that. That's very cool. So yeah, honestly, thematically great, sort of very palatable chord progression and bass line, and lots of variety within the performance. Studio recording, mixing and mastering is also very good. Really happy with the way that is presented. No complaints at all in regards to how the vocals are presented, especially listening back to it. I now go, oh, okay, I get it. These are all level. There's no issues. If there are resonances, they're deliberate, as per like the kind of wah effect that we have in the earlier half of the piece. Also, again, the Foley, the sound, the creature sound that we have at the end there, it's kind of cool to have that eventually kind of fade out into that. It kind of makes it feel like it's bigger than something else. The music surrounds you in the headphones, you know, nice and wide in the stereo field there. There is dynamic range, bus compression limiting is handled. And I just think generally, well done. No applicable constructive critique there. From a final generalist perspective, it was a slow burn, but I feel like at the end it kind of clicked there. Like, again, don't get me wrong, like the lyrical content is accessible, that you can kind of get behind it and figure it out almost immediately. It's just more that the entirety of it you need a moment to sort of simmer with. And I appreciate that you've got that kind of multifaceted experience with it. It's quite sophisticated. But I wish everyone involved the best of luck in future with their music. Thank you for watching my review of this track from Mercure Tchabong, titled Wed October. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please go show us some love via the various social medias and their YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next SP Reacts. Spiderhands out.